So if you're like most people, living with back pain is just part of the process these days. You know, you wake up and just, you know, that pain in your neck or your lower back or maybe with your hip feeling off, it's just something that you've gotten to the point where you expect it to happen on a daily basis because you've been dealing with it for so long. But it really shouldn't be that way, right? Now, if you're like me, you know, you've tried all the different stretches out there that everybody and their mother tells you to do. Stretch your lats, bend forward, stretch your hamstrings, open up your hip flexors. And yeah, they give you a little bit of temporary relief, but they don't really make any kind of lasting change. And after a couple weeks, you give up on them because they're not really doing anything besides eating up on your time. So what we've done at our facility is we've come up with, just do a lot of experimentation and a lot of trial and error, slight little variations for all these different exercises that you've heard to do to get rid of your back pain that actually work and are giving people in the facility real world results like right now, right? That's actually working for people today and yesterday and whatever day you watch in this video, probably 5 days before that too. So we're gonna show you this stretch where we're gonna be utilizing one of our slant boards, and this is our reverse Hyperdeck, right? Now you guys might not have one of these. The most important thing is you want something about top of the belly height. And it's really your creativity is the only thing that's going to hold you back on this one. Like if we didn't have a reverse hyper machine, I would bring the step over here by my treadmill, and I would use my treadmill to make up for the height of what I'm going to hold on to for the reverse hyper, right? You'll see what I mean in a minute. Maybe you use a railing at your house. Maybe you use, I'm not going to say a piece of furniture because you'll probably pull the fucker over, but you want to find something stable and sturdy, right? So let's take a look at my foot positioning first, right? This is a 30-degree slant board. You can go higher or lower. This is what's going to start to stretch in the calves and the ankles. Right now, we're huge fans of the WEC method first, go to second. Dave, you're the best, right? And what we're doing is we're starting with our toes slightly turned in, pigeon-toed, heels out on the outside rails of our foot, right? Now, what that's going to do is help load the initial muscles of the calves and the hamstrings and just put our hips in better positioning so we can open up the lower back. From there, I'm going to put my hands up on my reverse Hyperdeck, my elevated platform, right? So now I can stretch out my lats and really dip into bending the spine. And all I'm gonna do from here, let me reposition myself, is I'm gonna keep my hands up. I'm actually gonna grab the sides. I'm gonna drive my knees out. I'm gonna push my hips back, and I'm gonna go for that deep and stretch. I like to bounce up and down a little bit. And what I'll do is while I'm there, I'll dip my hips side to side. And this unique positioning between the slant board and the angle I have my feet on while stretching out my lats up top gives me this separation right here in my lower back and in my hips that really lets all like the connective tissue and the fascia and all the areas you keep tension on slowly start to stretch out and open up, particularly right around the hip and the QL. It's your quadratus lumbarum. If you don't know what that is, that's a good thing. That means you don't hurt there. If you do know what it means, I feel your pain, right? But I'm gonna sit inside of there, and typically what I'll do is I'll stretch out one side more than the other, sitting down with that hip. And when I say sit into it, we're gonna hold it for like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You know, at our facility, we're huge fans of holding a position for long periods of time, so your body has a chance to relax. Like when you first do a stretch, your body goes into what we call guarding mode, where your body's trying to protect itself from having the joint ripped out of the socket. So your muscles are gonna contract to make sure nothing happens. Like, good example. Let's say I go to grab this 45-pound plate here, right? And I go to hold it, right? Now, in reality, it only takes 8 pounds of pressure to pull the human arm out of the socket. I got a 45-pound plate. Why is my arm getting pulled out? Because all the muscles around my shoulders are contracting to keep it in place. So what happens is that's your guarding mode, right? Now what happens is after about 30 seconds of constant tension, your body's gonna have these little reactions inside of it that say, hey, listen, nothing bad's gonna happen, let's relax a little bit. And you'll go deeper into that stretch and you'll feel some of the fascia and scar tissue start to break up. You'll go a little deeper into it. After about another 30 seconds, you'll feel yourself go deeper into that stretch. And that process will keep happening until you're really able to get this long lengthening process, which is what a lot of programs like yoga and a lot of other mobility programs are kind of based around, right? So, reverse hyper. Another way I do it too, we use a Plyo Box, right? Now, the Plyo Box might be too low to the ground with the wedge, so you might want to do it with your feet flat. But what I'll do, I'll be in my little wedge, right? And to make up for the lack of the height, I'll tilt the box out and away from me. So I'm pushing my hands forward, driving my hips back, and I'm really lengthening out the back of my legs. And I'm pushing my body weight down to the ground to open up my spine. right? If you don't have a slant board, it would look more like this. I'd be right here. I want a more narrow grip, so I'm gonna switch to here. And I'm just gonna push forward with my hands, I'm gonna push back with my hips, I'm gonna push my chest down to the ground. And this one, I'm able to get my head between my arms, I'm really able to get some good pops right in my middle of my back. And I'm hanging out, and I'm doing that stretch, right? Just to show you again, let's say you got nothing fancy, nothing special. You're at the gym, you got a treadmill, and you wanna do the stretch, right? Let's see what it would look like. Hands are up top, feet are in my position, right? All I'm gonna do from here, what's up, Nick? I'm gonna sit down and back into the stretch right here. I'm trying to get my little pop. And you can see, like this one's great for getting the side of my rib cage. So I'm able to kind of twist into it and get a little more popping and twisting. And I'm really able to hold some tension in spots that I normally can't get into versus just, hey, we're gonna stretch out our lower back. Or hey, we're gonna stretch out our lat. And they don't really do anything for you. So, you know, little things like stretching the upper body and the lower body at the same time really helps pull a double-edged tug on that lower back, right? Or foot positioning, toes in, heels out, knees out, right? As you sit back with the hips, the knees bow out, you get a crazy stretch in the back of the hamstrings. And using little tools like the slam boards or different elevated positions to help get you in different angles to really help open up the body. Because think of it this way, right? You got my lower back right here. If I'm stretching my lower body, but not my upper body can compensate for my lower body. If I'm stretching my upper body, but not the lower body, my lower body can compensate for my upper body stretch. But if I'm stretching both of those sides at the same time, what's in the middle? Fascia in my lower back is able to open up, stretch, break up that scar tissue, break up some of that tension and fascia, and really start giving me the kind of relief that I'm looking for the whole time, all right? So, not as complex as some of the other exercises we give you guys, but it's really, really been a game changer for us in our programming. Hopefully it is for you too. Try it out. If it makes a difference, do me a favor, just leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know how it worked out for you. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to us, guys. Hopefully that helped out. See you in the next one.